after that, I'll be calling it a night. So question 12 reads as follows. The Coase Theorem suggests that under some conditions, private bargaining will resolve negative externalities. Does this mean that pollution problems should be left for the market to solve? Why or why not? And discuss this from the perspective of efficiency as well as equity. And what our junior tutor has written here is that the Coase Theorem offers a solution to the problem of externality, and the creator of an negative externality, here, pollution, and the victim, the society, can achieve their optimal levels through bargaining process if the following three conditions hold. So the conditions are as follows. One is going to be well-defined property rights. So what this means is that both parties know exactly the property rights, who owns what, etc. There's no confusion over what property is whose. So well-defined property rights. Second, that property rights are transferable. This means essentially that they can be sold or transferred to another party. Here they've written that transaction costs are sufficiently small. That's correct. Usually it's just simplified to no transaction costs. What that should really say, I suppose, is that transaction costs are negligible. This is how it always was in my textbooks, so I will pass it on to you like that. Lastly, and not listed here, is that these property rights are enforceable. Enforceable, sort of. Move this up a little bit because I'm going to draw a chart in a minute. So an example of the Coase Theorem, or I should finish reading their answer first. So what our junior tutor wrote was that the Coase Theorem provides the essential circumstances under which private markets are most likely to come up with effective solutions to the problem of externalities. The outcome will be optimal and hence efficient, but they will be no more equitable. There's a chance of free riding if the pool of people contributing funds as a part of the bargaining process believe that others will pay on behalf of them. I'm thinking about a situation here. So say there's a farmer and the farmer pollutes a river, and when the farmer pollutes this river, fish die or swim down a different river. That's unlikely, but bear with me. Fish die or swim down a different river, and there's less fish for the fisherman. Farmer pollutes, so less fish. And maybe this farmer is polluting the river with a pesticide he needs to help his crop grows. So of course, from his end, he'd like to pollute the river as much as it benefits him to grow the crop. And of course, the fisherman, on the other hand, wants him to not pollute the river at all, so there are more fish for this fisherman to fish out of the water. So if there are no property rights, we'll call them no prop rights, there is essentially nothing to be done. There's probably going to be some legal battle, which is going to be expensive. The farmer and the fisherman are going to argue over who knows what, and it is going to cost everybody. But if there are property rights, we're able to come to a solution where this negative externality, being the farmer polluting the river, is internalized and paid for. And this is essentially what the Coase Theorem states. The Coase Theorem states that if property rights are assigned, essentially that a negative externality can be internalized. The more formal definition, let's bring that up. More formal definition is that when there are complete competitive markets with no transaction costs, an efficient set of inputs and outputs to and from optimal production, optimal distribution will be selected, regardless of how the property rights are divided. That's kind of heavy, so I'm going to explain this to you. There's kind of two scenarios. If property rights are introduced, let me move this further up. One is if the farmer gets the rights to the river. If the farmer owns the right to the river, then the fisherman will pay him to pollute less, and he will pay him to the point where he is satisfied with his fishing, and the farmer will pollute less. So the externality is taken care of, and essentially what the fisherman is doing is paying the monetary cost of the externality to the farmer to prevent him from doing it. So the farmer owns the rights to the river, fisherman pays to have him reduce pollution. Reduce pollution. On the other hand, if the fisherman owns the river, the farmer is obviously still going to want to grow his crops. That's his profession. So if the fisherman owns the river, the farmer is going to pay him to pollute. And the fisherman will accept that up to the point where the marginal cost of accepting money from the farmer outweighs the marginal benefit of having of losing fish. Farmer pays to pollute. I'm going to draw this in a graph and then probably call it a night after. But I'm going to draw this on a graph here to kind of help us understand it. This is getting too small, so I'm going to give you guys a quick second to take a picture. Then I'll erase it and draw this graph. Erase it now. This is still question 12. And we can draw a graph here. And this is going to be marginal effect on the y-axis. Marginal effect. And on the right axis, we're going to have the amount of fertilizer. We have the marginal benefit sloping downwards, and marginal damage sloping outwards. So with no property rights, oh, sorry, no, so this is with property rights. This is going to be Q1. And without property rights would be Q2. So without property rights, the farmer is going to continue pouring fertilizer into the river and polluting it until there's no longer any benefit to him, which is this point right here. But if there are property rights assigned and the fisherman can pay, or either the fisherman can pay him not to pollute or the farmer can pay to pollute, they will instead move to the point where the marginal benefit equals the marginal demand. And as a result, all of this will be added well-being for the fisherman, whereas the farmer only loses out on this bit of it. So as a result, everybody is better off in the end. And basically, one last thing is that the Coase Theorem places a value on a negative externality. Value placed, it's too ugly to move forward. Value placed on negative externality. I'll give you a second to take a picture of that if you'd like. Correct. Good job. And that does it for me today. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. This has been Kevin from OneClass. You could like the video, subscribe, leave a comment below, and you can also message in with any questions that you'd like answered in the future. Thanks for watching and have a nice night.